Hey, it's Dan, and today's episode is going to be a little bit different. After the last episode, we left the recorder on, and Brigitte and I ended up going down a bit of a rabbit hole about focus, staying motivated, cadence cycles. It wasn't planned, but it was pretty insightful, so we figured why not share it with you. We hope you enjoy our conversation.
Welcome to What the Biz, where we talk about building successful businesses, balancing life, and all the WTB in between. With your hosts,
I'm Brigitte Vector.
And I'm Dan Prochko.
Well, okay, so as I was recording videos yesterday, this is my soapbox for a second. My parents show up in my driveway, and I'm like, great, right? Like unannounced, hello, you're here. My kids tell them that I'm doing this, and then they proceed to still come into my office and talk to me for 2 hours. So like I said, I am going to get a hotel room for 2 days by myself to just record everything that I want to record. So it's like that blocking all distractions, like signs on your office door of like, hey, like I'm busy, right? Like noise canceling headphones, like just taking a set amount of time to finish that one thing that you haven't done that just keeps lingering will set up like your next quarter to just be like, okay, that's done. Moving on. Like, I feel like when we're in so many different arenas, right, we aren't focusing on just finishing something. And it just lingers and lingers.
It's the worst. It's the absolute worst.
No, and lingers.
It's the absolute worst. Somebody told me, actually, it's part of EOS. That leaders always take what's called a clarity break. And it's a 4-hour block that they're supposed to put aside for themselves where they leave the workplace. They're not at the office and they are nowhere where they would get their normal distractions. Like they're supposed to pick a place that's like no one they know is going to go there. No clients are going to show up. No friends live in that area. Like they pretty much has to like drive half an hour somewhere or pick the weirdest place or get like a hotel room, like you're saying, or the coffee shop no one likes to go to. Okay. And they go there for like literally for 4 hours. And all they do is like think and do some tasks that they're supposed to get done. Like that's the whole point of it. And that just feels so in line with what you're talking about. I mean, a little bit different because you're talking about a project. This is like a once a week clarity thing, but same thing is just like drawing that line and making it a distraction-free zone.
Gosh, I feel like I should commit to trying that for like a set amount of time and seeing how much I actually accomplish by doing that.
Yeah. I've never done it. I'll be honest. It's part of EOS and I've never done it. Mostly because it's really me and Jenny for the most part. Like I know we have employees or have had them and they've been remote and everything, but because they're remote, I don't get the distractions. And if I'm really clear with Jenny, I don't have kids either or parents showing up randomly. So for me, it hasn't really been an issue. Like when I want the no distraction. My problem ends up being that even when I plan the time for something, I end up distracting myself.
How?
That's
like what triggers your distractions?
For instance, I'm working on writing an email newsletter and I'm drafting it. You know, I'm getting to the end and then it's like, oh yeah, you know what? This is going to need a blog post. Okay, let's pause where I'm at. Instead of finish where I'm at, let's go draft that blog post. Then I'm drafting this post. And then in this post, I'm like, oh, I need data right here. Okay, instead of just leaving myself a note to go do that during the editing phase somewhere else, nope, I'm going to open up analytics and my data, and I'm going to go find case studies right now, okay? And then it'll trigger in my head, wait, I was in the middle of writing a post. What am I doing? Oh my God, I was finishing an email. Why am I even doing that? I go back to the email, I finish it, okay? I finish that task. Now my next task is supposed to be drafting my next email. What do? No, I go back to that blog post. I go back to the case studies. Oh, wait. And then you know what hits my head? Oh, yeah. I have a client onboarding in 4 days that I have to send an email to them to get them all the instructions that they need. So I pause what I'm doing And then I do that. And then it derails because then I've opened my email and I've got 20 emails and I have to go look at XYZ. And then I never get back to the thing I'm supposed to be working on. Does that sound like, that sounds like I think everybody's or every leader's, I don't know. It's my nightmare.
You literally just gave the best real world life case study I've ever heard. And I swear that is like my day, my brain. So I always say that the tabs open on my computer is my brain from the day. And when I go back through and look at the amount of undone thing, I didn't finish anything in any of those tabs. I'm like, what did I do all day? Even though I know that I did things all day.
No, I said that yesterday. I was done with the day. Me and Jenny were going out to dinner yesterday. Or where was I going? No. I had just gotten home and my computer was still on. I got home from a networking event and everything. I came home and I'm like, I'm fried. I don't even know what I did today, Jenny. I don't know what's going on. I need to stop work, but I got to go down and shut it down. I came down. I had like 30 tabs open. And the fact that Google Chrome now has this ability to save groups and have these groups of tabs that you can minimize and everything, I realized I had a tab with 10, a group of 10 that I hadn't even counted yet. I had like 40 tabs open. And I'm looking at it all like, okay, that's a blog post draft. There's a blog post draft. That's an email draft. Oh, that's ad copy draft for a client for a project. Oh, that's a proof that Jenny just put together that I didn't even look at. That's graphics. Like I'm what was I doing? Like I can only focus on one thing at a time. I can't actually compute and write at the same time. It's insane. Yeah. I'm a walking case study is what it is.
Well, I have said, and I think I've said it on the podcast too, that there has to be proof or studies or something that I do believe those that are really great entrepreneurs in leadership positions have ADD or ADHD, and like we can't stop. I swear there has to be documented.
There has to be one. There has to be one.
I brought this up in another group and I swear everybody raised their hands of like, yes, 1,000,000% agree, said the same thing. And that is not anything against having it because I swear I have it too. Like it is what it is. Have you tried, I've heard of this and I have not tried it, but I heard that there are apps that will actually block.
Yes, I have.
Websites or like moving to, has it worked?
They're absolutely infuriating
because you can't get where you want to go.
Correct.
But wouldn't that keep you
hold on.
in?
No, I know what you're gonna say, and yes, you're right and wrong all at the same time. This is like not literally, but it's just like it's good and it's bad at the same time. They're the focus productivity apps that block things. Yeah, you can click them and it will like block Facebook, like your usual standards. You can block all those, great. But then you could say things like, I want you to not let me go to my email. I want you to not let me, I don't know, do other things. And once you start doing that, that's when productivity to me suffers because I'm finding that like I write something and I have to go somewhere else to find something, but then I can't and it just blocks and stops the whole flow. The problem is by going to look for something, I end up stopping the flow anyway because it distracts me. So it infuriates me to no end. The only thing that has helped me is just being really good at if a thought hits me or being aware that I'm being better at being aware that I'm not doing what I should be doing and writing it down. The moment I do that, I tend to focus way better. And I've been doing that again for the last week and a half and it's been awesome. Like I have felt so productive recently. I got my top 5 to 6 things per day. That's it. I got my master list for the week. Anything new that pops up during the week, I put on for next week. And unless it's super urgent, and then I just fly through everything. And for the last week and a half, I have been a productive machine, but I've been fried at the end of the day with so many tabs open that I end up having to just write tasks down for everything because it's like I don't even know why I started that stuff. But that's
you took the thought right out of my head. Like we do this a lot.
We're same person. We do this a lot. Yeah.
It just
same
happened.
Person.
I started calling it my parking lot. So I actually have a note pad open. And yes, same thing. As soon as a distracting thought comes in, like I type it out on that notepad and I like move back to exactly what I was supposed to be focused on. And I completely agree that it has helped tremendously with at least bringing me back where I was supposed to be. Thank you. You actually have a visual notepad.
I'm showing my parking lot right here.
Yes.
All the tasks that pop up, things. Yeah.
Yep. The parking lot. It has helped. I will still say it's not perfect because I still find a way to move into another tab. But it has helped some. And it's just been, I don't know. I think it's season. I think it's having so many projects going on, trying to enjoy summer. Now we're into 4th of July, focusing on what am I going to do to close out the year and hit goals that I want to hit while still finishing all this, while bringing on an employee. Like it's just like, it's the entrepreneur struggle, I guess. But yeah. I have also started, if I find myself getting distracted, I actually get up and I will walk either through the house and come back, or I'll like walk out the office door for a second and walk in a circle. Like people probably think I'm crazy, but that's okay. And I find if I walk back in, then I can sit back to that exact task. So that's been, instead of my parking lot, I'll just get up for a second and walk and come back.
Have you noticed that there's an actual time span of when that happens? Have you noticed that there's a pattern to it?
It's like every 20-ish minutes for me.
That's funny because a Pomodoro is about 20-25 minutes.
Is it?
Yeah. So in the Pomodoro technique, it's 25 minutes of work and then a 5-minute break. And then you get back in it for 25 minutes and 5. And you can change those times as you need. I know others do like 20 minutes, 3 minutes, or 25 minutes, 3 minutes, etc. And as you get better at focusing, if that ever happens, I guess it's an ebb and flow. At one point, I was doing 45 15s. I was doing a 45-minute Pomodoro with a 15-minute break. Or for larger projects, I would do that. Yeah, I used to do that a lot. That's nice. Yeah. Same thing. Get up, walk around for a bit.
Naturally doing something that I didn't know I was doing.
Well, there's like I learned this from professors in my MBA. I don't know why I never came across this before, but like the attention span of a normal human is about 45 minutes. Mm. After 45 minutes of something, we all start to drift and disappear, and like we're just not there anymore, and something has to change. And so this one professor would always do a break at 45 minutes and then would never go longer than an hour and a half, even though we had like 2.5-hour classes or something like that. To do 2 45s and then we were done. Because otherwise we'd all be super fried. So
did you learn the most in that class too? Or learn a lot more? Like what was it helpful for retention and learning?
Well, I got an A, so I think so. Let's do it that way. I got an A. I don't know if all of the information from the class is in my brain, but I got an A, so I'll take that. Yeah,
I like it.
So I'll take that.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah, focus is a difficult one. We I struggle with it all the time.
Welcome to entrepreneurship again.
Yeah.
It's that reminder of, yep, still have that.
Yeah.
Do you find too that, and I have not fallen down this rabbit hole of things or this world of conversation, but I've heard it a lot lately, that the moon cycles as it affects water can affect productivity. But I do know that there is times, like there are certain times during a month or every few months that I wake up with the most clear, motivated, could probably knock out 10 days worth of work in 10 hours of that day, that I don't get distracted. And I swear it's always on a day that I have a meeting full of, or a calendar full of meetings. Like it never fails.
Yeah, no, that happens for me too, for sure. That happens to me. The moon thing, I just want to yell out hogwash. Because it just sounds like I'm not saying it's not true. I don't know any research on it. Okay.
Yeah.
I did a quick search. There's content about it. I don't know how scientific it is. I get why people have said it. I think I go hogwash because it's just super woo for me. It's too, not enough science in that one. But I get the science. I just don't know. I don't. Yeah, I know we're like 80% water, and I know the moon and gravity have an impact on water, but that just seems, I don't know, something about that just doesn't sit right with me is all.
I don't know anything about it. I can't speak to it. I can't speak for or against. I can't believe the amount of times that I've heard it in my life in the past week. Like, I swear everywhere I've turned, somebody has been mentioning a moon cycle. And I'm like, why is this coming up right now?
Yeah. I will say that, cycles are great for productivity.
Mm-hmm.
Not in the sense of like pre-manufactured cycles, but things like there's a start of the week, there's a start of the month, there's the start of a new quarter. There's these cycles that we have gotten used to and that the world runs on that helps with productivity or focus and motivation. Which is why I think at the end of every week we get less motivated and everything because we're looking forward to the unplugging and doing something different. We've been through this whole sprint, as it were, and actually that's a great thing. If you haven't read Sprint and looked into the Sprint methodology, it's a neat thing for innovation. I don't think it works for like the normal work week, but that's a whole other thing. It's almost like Agile or whatever, but we've been through this sprint, as I'll call it, for a week of work, and then we need to step away from it. So as the week ends, it's like, oh, I'm done with this. I can't focus on it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's something to be said because, like the cycle thing you were talking about, it's proven. EOS uses it. Other programs use it, like the 90-day focus,
90 days. Yeah.
Right. Like, so you break everything down into those 90 days and then you break it further down, right, into functional, like, cycles of getting things done.
Yeah. Well, that's because as humans, we're horrible at looking at a whole year, like long term, like understanding what does a year-long project actually look like. That's impossible to keep in one's brain. Yes. I mean, that's why it's so hard for us to lose weight. That's why it's so hard to stay and exercise forever for long periods of time. That's why it's for those reasons, because it's slow. A year-long project, the results you see are so slow day to day that it seems like you're not getting anywhere. So it's impossible. Mm-hmm. So that's why breaking things down makes so much sense.
Yes. I have been really guilty, I think, in the last couple of months of getting away from that. Like, we plan for a purpose. We put goals in place for a purpose, or milestones, not even goals, but like milestones in place for a purpose. And I've deviated, self-admittedly, I have deviated, and I'm kind of looking forward to this being my reset because I've noticed that I've deviated. We're going back into another quarter.
There you go.
Like, let's go back to what has worked and maybe not just go rogue like entrepreneurs do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Visionaries.
We go rogue all the time. This whole last quarter, we haven't really had a quarterly thing. We had it for Q1, but not for Q2.
Yeah.
And we've gotten quite a bit done in Q2. I think that's just a fluke. Our problem is that we commit to too much. And the key thing is that, especially in EOS, when you think about business improvement, we always think about personal or something that impacts our day-to-day. What's interesting about EOS is that the business improvement that they talk about are meant to be improvements that impact the client, which is so hard to wrap one's brain around, because it's like, we'll have this process that feels like there's a bit of friction in it for us internally. So we come up with a rock, let's fix that. But there's no meaningful impact on actual quality of work for the client, which in the mind of EOS that's a waste of time. You don't do a rock for that reason. You do a rock because there is a meaningful efficiency impact that will increase either the capacity of client work one can do on a major scale, or the quality level that one can apply, or increase in services for a client, and thus drive more value. And so it was just really easy for us to put a lot of projects on our list that had no impact on client quality or quality of work. Our quality of work was still great. That's not what I'm getting at. It's just like, there's just things on here where we're just improving things internally because we feel like we have a little bit of a headache. And it's funny because for those, it's like, just go fix it. Like, just tell me what it is. I don't need a quarterly project for this. And yeah, it's difficult to wrap our mind around that sometimes for many.
I love that focus though, of like, it should be something that improves or touches client somehow. Like, it should have an impact, whether, like you said, capacity for more, that would impact clients, right? Or the way it's being delivered, or the back end processes of efficiency, but it still touches client. That is such a good way to think about it, to make sure that you are staying like in the correct zone and not your distracted zone. I'm gonna use that as I am reevaluating my next focus. Like, what impact does this have on our clients?
On our clients, that's always the question. It's like, is this and so like in EOS, the question is this the most important thing for us to focus on for the next 90 days? That question really should be, and impacts our clients. And you can always, like, we can always use logic to rationalize it impacts our clients. Like, our process for double checking year end, can be improved in this way and this way. Okay, but does it meaningfully impact client results? No, don't worry about it. Like, just leave it. It's fine. That 2% improvement is not going to impact anything. Or for us, it was our graphic review process, because it has to go through like 5 different hands. Not really, but it goes through 3 people. There's the designer, there's creative lead that double checks, and then it goes to the client. And so that whole process has always felt laggy. And so we literally spent 3 quarters trying to improve that, but the quality of the work had always maintained the same. So why? It didn't matter. I don't know why I spent so much time trying to improve it and why I cared so much. It was mostly because I had to spend a lot of time putting project management info into our project management platform. And so I think I'm just solving the wrong problem is what it is.
Sure.
It's I'm not an account manager and need to get an account manager. That's a whole different, that's going to solve my problem. But
and then you have a new one of, okay, how do I train said account manager, and how do I bring them to like onto our branding,
our process and our thinking,
our systems. It's always trading one for another. But in long term, I think having the correct hires actually makes the biggest impact.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
But it's kind of like going to the doctor, right? Or even clients coming to us, they're like, well, we want to hire you to do this, but we don't want our books to be messy. So we're going to spend all this time trying to clean them, right? Or people that have cleaners that come to the house, but they clean their house first.
Oh God. Yeah.
So it's like hiring, like, I really need to hire, but I want everything to be perfect first. And it's like, no, hire and let them help you make it better.
Totally. The embarrassment factor is that's what I call it. The embarrassment factor. It is so real and such a roadblock for many people. I always found that funny. My mom did that growing up. Is like, we'd have the cleaning lady come and she'd go clean your room before she I'm like, why? She's coming.
I love it.
I don't have to.
Yes.
And it's just like, I don't want her to see all that. I'm like, what? This is such a waste of my time. You're going to spend the same amount of money for her to be here. What are we talking about?
It is so true, though, because like, we as humans want things to look a certain way. Like the company, we want it to look like we have our everything together, right? We have our what together. And then meanwhile, it's like we have it together for the clients. it's not bad, but we know internally there's like these fires all around us.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's really funny. I'm just envisioning like somebody who's got a horrible lawn with grass that's past their knees, and then they're out there with a weed whacker whacking it down to 6 inches just so that it doesn't look horrible when the landscaper shows up. And it's just like, no, that guy's gonna take care of it. They're gonna love that it's like 3 feet high. They're gonna have fun with that.
Like that's what you pay them for.
Yeah.
Yep. So true.
Yeah. So I mean, in terms of like staying focused, you know, and kind of back to the original thing of getting back into the swing of what's going on. Yeah. I think just minimizing distractions, finding that place where you're not going to get them. I love your thing of going to the hotel room. 90-day cycle, shorten them up, having a good task list, a parking lot, as it were. I think that's a funny word. I mean, the tax. Lot? I mean, because look, if you don't put it in the parking lot, there's a tax on your brain. So I don't know. It's yeah. That's it.
And I think ultimately, grace, like we expect so much of ourselves. Just remember to come back.
We do.
Like,
so true. We're working hard.
Always have to tell myself that. Like, give yourself a little grace. You know how much you have done this week? It'll be okay.
Yeah.
Easier said than done for those that live in perfectionist land.
All right, I'm going to switch gears here because I can do stuff in post. Was that an episode?
I think we just came up with an episode. Like, however you end up posting that, it could just be we just dove in and now you have an episode.
I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a little intro before the episode starts, before the intro music, and just say, hey, the holiday week we got together and we just had like a ranting episode, something like we just wanted to talk. I just wanted to give you an insight into our minds, where we're at.
Get to know us.
Have fun. Have some behind the scenes stuff that we decided that you should hear.
Yeah.
So here you go. Is that cool if I just do that?
Yeah. I mean, I think it actually turned into a pretty structured, like with action items episode.
It totally had action items because that's how we think. Totally. Yeah.
Well, that will
I love that you call it a parking lot. Oh my God, that's so great. Parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to think, is there some analogy for the parking lot and literally paying a toll and everything? Like, you want to pay the toll, or like you want to pay the parking fee for it sitting there and not getting done because it's just going to cost you more by distracting you and trying to get it done in the moment.
Yeah.
But I couldn't make it work well, and that still isn't very elegant and pithy, so I didn't say it. But there's something there.
There is
something. There's something there. No, yes. I love that you call it that. Yeah. Are you gonna go back to EOS again or no?
Maybe.
Or 90-day things.
Yeah, I need to go back to 90-day things. I just need to get like I don't know. We started so many projects. And like everybody's working on so many things. And I feel like focus is lacking. Like we're all slowly working on, and it's like, no, we just need to go back to the whole, like, this is what we're finishing.
Accountability. Yeah.
This is what we're doing. This is why I like bringing it back to client things, because that's going to make me go, okay, who is this impacting?
Yeah.
And ultimately, who is this impacting?
And don't forget, like a rock could be just sales and growth. There just isn't like something else. It's just, no, we're just going to focus on growth. And so everybody's got a role to play in the company growing.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's our little detour. It took us a bit by surprise, but hey, hope you enjoyed it. And who knows, maybe there were even some valuable nuggets of wisdom hiding in there. If you have a question you'd like us to tackle on a future episode, head over to our website, whatthebiz.com. You can leave a comment via our contact form or record a voicemail right there. And hey, if you're feeling generous, leave us a review on your favorite podcast app. It really helps spread the word and lets us know you're out there listening. So thanks again for joining us for this special episode. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode, and so be sure to tune in. Till then, take care and keep on building your business.